Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CGTN Roundtable Show, and we're coming to you live in the city of Changsha. Today is day 3 of China-Africa Economic and Trade Expo, and we're here. Actually, I was here from the day 1, just walking around this expo, walking around the venues. We can feel the liveliness, the hustle and bustle here, and that's why we bring you the 3 of our guests today: Joseph from Uganda, and Benjamin from Kenya, as well as Andrew from the Rwanda, right? Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Say hello to our audiences.
Hello.
Okay, so we know this is the 3rd expo held in Changsha. It focuses on the trade cooperation between China and Africa, and this year we have a total of 1,500 exhibitors signing up to the expo. That's up 70% from the previous edition in 2021. Of course, that one was held when COVID is still around. Now, the surge in attendance, certainly it speaks volumes of the people's willingness, people's like you, the exhibitors, your willingness to come, to exchange, to engage with their customers, with potential business partners in an in-person and face-to-face manner. So that's really kind. Now we're in this brand new era post-COVID. So first of all, I just want to start by having each of you guys to introduce yourself a little bit, okay? Maybe we'll start with Joseph.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Joseph Nkando. I am the Executive Director of New Cafe. New Cafe is a coffee producer association from Uganda.
Okay.
And within that association, we have over 1.5 million smallholder coffee farmers that produce the coffee, and we export the coffee directly to the end destination.
To the destination, 1.5 million.
Yes.
That's a big number.
That's right.
Wow. So you focuses on coffee or coffee expert?
Coffee
Expert. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about coffee later, right? And then we'll start with Benjamin. Benjamin, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Benjamin Mwema Watuma. I come from Kenya, and for us, we mainly produce is Kenyan tea from the Mount Kenya region, the volcanic soils. Our tea is free of pesticides, it's free of fertilizer. It's also free of any pollution. This tea comes from the volcanic soils of Mount Kenya in a very pristine environment. And what we produce is black tea, white tea, as well as purple tea.
All sorts of tea leaves.
Yeah.
That's how Chinese drink. Like Chinese love to drink teas, right?
Yeah.
Like
yes.
Coffee is more like it's not like originated in China.
Yeah.
So you guys are like one focuses on coffee, another focuses on tea. So
yes.
you guys can really it's a mixture. It's kind of a mixture of cultures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, we have Andrew.
Yes.
Andrew, tell me some of the basic information that you have.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Andrew Gatera. I'm the founder of G-Step Group. G-Step Group has 2 products that we run. One is G-Step Tours, another one is G-Step Coffee. So we specialize in these 2 products, tourism and coffee. So tourists buy the coffee. So, and only specialize in the specialty coffee. So we basically deal with the small farmers. We aggregate their produce, we bring it together, we do value addition, and then we export to bigger markets that want the best in the market.
So it's tourism plus coffee. Tourism plus coffee, right?
Yes. We do exports, but we also produce locally and support the coffee shops locally.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we combine tourism and coffee together.
Okay. You guys are pretty much all like to drink. Coffee, tea, coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we also are specialized in the handmade crafts, like one that you see on the table. And we also produce one of the best chilies in Rwanda.
The chilies.
The mountains that are in Rwanda.
Right.
You know, Rwanda is also called the land of 1,000 hills.
Yeah. So we can tell from the products you bring along today, like it's all about flavors, right? Like there are all sorts of like coffee beans, chili sauce, tea leaves, and also these trinkets. And so I'm really interested. I do want to start, after we've introduced ourselves, I do want to have each of you gentlemen here to introduce the products, the trinkets or souvenirs you bring along.
Yeah.
So, Joseph, what do you have for us today?
Yeah, I came along with coffee. You know, in Uganda we produce both Arabica coffee and Robusta coffee. And when I talk about these two, coming directly from the farmers themselves, we are talking about high quality coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
But first, I just want to know, what's the difference between the two?
What you see here is what is inside here.
So they're basically the same.
Exactly.
Okay.
Here is to ensure that one can see these beans very well.
Yeah.
But naturally, we package our coffee in Ghana bags, you know, of this kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we have also art pieces. And you can see the way they were designed, like our wild animals, you know, elephants that we have.
It's
As
very
my
African,
colleague has talked about tourism. Yeah, when, you know, visitors come, they are able to go to our national parks and be able to see this kind of, you know, animals that we have. But for Uganda, as the largest exporter of coffee from Africa, so producing both Arabica coffee and Robusta coffee.
Okay. So coffee is your thing. Yeah, as you
Coffee is
mentioned
the
in
thing.
your introduction.
Exactly.
And also these little cute trinkets, elephants, hippo, like they're all like very typical African animals
That's
that
right.
you can find.
That's
okay.
right.
We can only find animals like this in zoo. But for you, it's like, when you go outside, it's everywhere, right?
And you're able to find these animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to travel someday to Africa.
Yes, so we'd like to invite, you know, many Chinese visitors to come and visit, you know, East Africa, you know,
We'd love to.
Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. This is where all these animals are found.
We'd love to pay a visit, especially when the COVID is over. The travel would be much easier, the international travel. Yeah. Okay, so the coffee, the trinkets, and Benjamin, what do you have for us today?
Today what I've brought here is our Kenyan tea, Feijoy, our African tips tea. For us we produce specialty tea. And here what I have here is the purple tips. This tea is purple in color. We all know that most of the tea is usually green in color. The tea leaf is green. But we also have a type of purple tea that is found in the East African region there. In Kenya we grow it in the Kenyan highlands. So this tea is full of anthocyanins. And we process it in the Chinese kind of way. Yeah, because our main target market is the Chinese market. Well, I know in China there's a lot of different types of tea. And for us what we are trying to establish is a cultural exchange through tea. Because tea first came from China and went all around the world. Now we are bringing this Kenyan tea that grew from Kenya back to China, and we are adding value by adding the Chinese culture into it, Chinese tea culture. Yeah.
Wow, so you bring like the seeds to Africa, and then after like planting it in Africa, you bring it back to Chinese market.
Yeah, we
That's
bring
amazing.
it to the Chinese market because for our tea there, the difference is just the environment is different, the soil is different. So in the end of the day, the taste is also different. And we also want to have this kind of cultural interaction between our Kenyan people and also the Chinese people. And tea is the kind of drink that you have when you have a guest. When you have people visit you, you sit down, you exchange stories, you drink tea. So through this tea, we also want to bring this cooperation between Kenya and China, Africa and Kenya. And through this tea, we can also learn about each other's culture and also appreciate each other's culture.
It's what bridging, right? The cultures
it's like a
between
bridge,
China and
using tea as a bridge.
Africa. It's amazing. I never thought about it, you know. Like Chinese, like traditional Chinese specialties can be planted in Africa and then bring back to China. That's amazing. It's the first time I learned it.
Yeah, that's the main goal is to establish that link between Africa and China using the oldest beverage, tea. Yeah.
It's great, and they have different colors.
Yeah, this one is white tea. We produce black tea, white tea, and purple tea. The white tea is produced from the green leaf tea. And the black tea is also produced from the green leaf tea. This tea all comes from Mount Kenya at an altitude of 1,700 meters. And we grow it in the volcanic soil at the equator. So the tea has very good qualities, and the taste is actually very good too.
I'm also really interested in your costume today. I mean, it's really unique African style, right?
Yeah.
Introduce.
What I'm wearing here is from the Maasai culture. There's a tribe in Kenya and Tanzania called the Maasai people.
Maasai.
Yeah, Maasai people. They're very famous all around the world.
Okay.
And also their dress code is very colorful and very beautiful. Yeah, they have all these bangles and all these necklaces, and also they also wear this kind of dress whereby when they dance, when they jump, it's like a musical tone.
Yeah. You can see that the residents, the people walking by here, they really love you because of the costumes. They really want to take selfies. Like on your way here, you take what, 100 selfies already?
Yeah, around about 100 selfies. I think when we put our culture out there, culture is always beautiful, and everyone else can get to appreciate the culture too.
Wow. I think it's a good place to showcase not just your products here, but also the culture, like the costumes you wear today.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good platform, this expo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And Andrew, so we just talked about coffee and we talked about leaves. What do you have for us today?
As just a group, we specialize in coffee and tourism.
Yeah, also coffee, yeah.
Coffee is love. Coffee mends broken relationships. So, as a former student who studied in this country in China, went back to Africa, I felt that bringing the two peoples together, I could easily use tourism and coffee to actually build a serious bridge between Africa and China. So coffee and tourism are actually, they're like sisters and brothers. So no tourists that hate coffee. So most of the people, the highest percentage, they look for coffee. And because Africa is blessed, has fertile soils, more especially the volcanic, areas. In Rwanda, when you talk about the landscape of Rwanda, the land of abundant hills, that's where you find the mountain gorillas in that area. So the coffee also grows better in those mountains, the high altitudes. So my colleague here talked about the high quality coffee. So the region, when you look at the whole of Africa, the eastern part of the African continent, when you cut it, coming from Ethiopia, going down to Uganda, you go to Rwanda, you continue going down. That area is also very blessed. The tropical forest, the tropical weather. So we grow most of the beautiful, flowers, but they can look beautiful. But the coffee itself, because they suck the water a little bit in a difficult way, so they take their time to mature and then create a very, very special flavor. So, what we brought here to show the people is the coffee, and we welcome them because most people take coffee from the supermarkets. They have never seen a coffee tree. So what we want is to bring the people back to the origin. Coffee was discovered in Africa. So we want them to go back to the roots to see where the coffee grew from. And as they are going to take the coffee, they're also doing the tourism. So that's why we bring the tourism concept into coffee.
That's a brilliant idea. I mean, coffee it's going viral around the world, and especially in China nowadays. Especially when you go to cities like Shanghai or Chengdu, there are cafes dotted all over the city, right? It kind of shows people's, especially Chinese, love to coffee nowadays. Now we have more options, more than just tea, but also coffee, more like Western kind of drinks, beverages. So it's a good idea. And you also mentioned, not just coffee, but also tourism, to bring people back to the roots of the coffee, right? That's where, Africa is where coffee is originated. That's a brilliant idea.
Yes, it's absolutely a good idea because, as technology, keeps, evolving, people are using the videos, the VRs to see things, the movies, but they have never been on ground. They don't know what they are eating. They don't know what's happening around them. So people are born in one place and they die in the same place. So we really encourage people to move out of their comfort zone, go see the world. Now that COVID is out, so the world is really open, and we welcome people mainly to visit Africa because the originality of human being.
Yes. We know that when you drink coffee, you would also like to have some desserts or some kind of stuff, but here we have this kind of I don't know what is it chili
Yes.
pepper sauce?
Yeah, this is a chili sauce.
Chili
And
sauce.
it's chili, and you know, like it has been praised highly by so many people. The Rwandan chili is very special. If you haven't tried, actually it's a crime. You need to try the chili. The Rwandan chili is serious.
But I don't want to try it on
Yeah,
air.
so you don't want to try now, but the Rwandan chili, it has a very special flavor. So when you get a chance, I really invite everybody to try the Rwandan chili.
Yeah.
It's, as I talked about the coffee, same thing with the chili. And this is because of the landscape, the mountainous area. So
Yeah.
that's what brings the special flavor to this chili and coffee.
Okay. That's really cool because, Changsha is also famous for spicy food.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the chili sauce here is more spicy or yours is
Okay.
spicier. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try that after the show. Yeah. Sure. So after we introduce so many souvenirs, trinkets you bring along, I think it's really good. It can represent comprehensively African culture, like the drinks you love, the food you love, and the animals you have. Yeah. So Africa is really, it has a rich culture and a rich history. You should be proud of your roots and your history, basically culture. So next question I want to ask is, is this your first time to Changsha, to the city?
Okay.
Your first time?
This is my second time.
Your second time. Okay. Tell me about your impression of the city.
I think the experience I have had for the second time is that this city is growing so fast.
It's growing fast. That's for sure.
In spite of the COVID that you experienced, people have been working so hard behind the scenes, especially with regards to construction. The first time I was here in 2018, 2019, some of the places I didn't find, buildings up.
Yeah.
But coming back this time, so many buildings have come up.
Lots of high rises.
Meaning that, there is a lot that is taking place here. And therefore the implication is that, businesses are here, growth is here, a lot of what needs to be done is here, and therefore this is, a destination for business. This is a place to be, as far as Africa is concerned. And therefore we are here, and we are looking forward to interact with, the entrepreneurs from here, and we would like to, do business in a very, very serious way, but in a humane way.
That's very well said, Joseph. You said this is why you're here. You came here for the second time into Changsha, and you see all the growth, the high rises, all the huge differences, I would say. Like, this is why the growth is here. This is why you bring your coffee beans, every product to here, because the business opportunities are here, right? So this is day 3 of the Expo. How do you like it so far? Have you found any business opportunities at the Expo?
I have already had opportunities. I have signed the contracts already, for coffee. I have sold, lots of coffee that I was able to send before I came, and what I came along with, as I was coming. And therefore, for the sake of showcasing, the products, I had to stop selling, and keep some products until it comes to the end tomorrow.
Okay.
So it is an amazing experience that I have had, coming over here for the second time.
Almost
so
sold out.
I appreciate the experience I have had.
Almost sold out here.
Yes, almost sold out.
Okay. Okay, the hustle and bustle here.
And as if
certainly.
that has not been good enough, the invitations, the dinners I have enjoyed, with my potential, customers, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's indeed amazing. It's day 3, and you've been here for 3 days, and now your products are almost sold out, and people here are passionate, just when I was picking you up there in your venue, I saw like people were all around you, right,
Oh, yes.
asking you for your coffee beans.
Oh,
like,
yes.
yeah, that.
And the other interesting bit is myself also became a tourist attraction of some sort. Because everyone wanted to take a selfie with me, you know.
Same with Benjamin. You don't even need a costume to do that. Yeah.
It is such an interesting expo.
Yeah,
You know, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, Benjamin, you're an equally famous person. People ask you for selfies. So how do you like Changsha so far?
This is my first time in Changsha. This is the first expo I've come for to attend here in Changsha. And my feeling is Changsha is a very warm and welcoming place. The people are very friendly, they are very warm. And another thing, like he said, Changsha is ripe for development. It's a hub for development.
Right.
You can feel the spirit even when you hear the leaders give the speech, their plan for the future, what they intend to do. I believe Changsha is a very good spot for developing. If you are looking for a Sino-Africa kind of relationship, like a Sino-Africa kind of cooperation, Changsha is the place to be. In terms of businesses, like physical businesses, also in terms of online businesses. I've heard a lot of people say Changsha is the hub for online live streaming. And actually I've met some people who do online live streaming here from Changsha. Yesterday I was lucky enough to meet an African from Angola by the name of Lama. He's one of the superstars in Doing. And he told me like living in Changsha, his experience has also been the same. Changsha is a very good place for development and for growth, especially for online businesses. So if you're looking forward to put your business online, I think Changsha is the place to be.
Changsha is the place to be.
Yeah.
I saw your live streaming the other day. You speak really good Mandarin. Almost like at a native Chinese speaker level.
Thank you very much. I try where I can.
Yeah. So, you are mostly you're based in Shenzhen, right?
Yeah, we are based in Shenzhen.
Yeah. What's the difference between Changsha and Shenzhen? Because from my perspective, Changsha is more like have this like laid back style of lifestyle, right? People do not like work that hard.
Yeah.
It's not like Shenzhen, right?
Yes. Actually, there's a very big difference between Changsha and Shenzhen. One thing they have in common, they are both cities that are developing in terms of business. For Shenzhen, the life there, it's a bit fast. It's a bit hectic in a way.
Yeah.
And I think because Shenzhen is one of the cities in China that has developed very fast. In the past like 60 years, from a small shipping village, right now it's one of the biggest cities in China.
Yeah.
And so many people also move into Shenzhen to find better opportunities to grow and to develop. And also Changsha, I believe, is in the same way. People are coming to Changsha to develop and also to grow. But unlike Shenzhen, Changsha is also a historical city.
Sure.
Shenzhen is full of people from outside who come to develop together. And Changsha is one of the China's historical city. It has a rich culture, and also the people here are, like I said, friendly, welcoming, and very loving. Yeah.
Very
and also,
lovely.
I like your cuisine. I like your food. It's spicy, and I really like spicy food.
Spicy food. That's where you should be in Changsha.
Changsha is the place to be.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Andrew, what are some of the impressive memories or stories that you have when you're in China? Either your daily life or your business?
It's very hard to tell now, but it's my first time in Changsha City. But I used to live in China about 7 years ago.
7 years ago?
Yes.
Which city?
I used to live in Beijing.
Oh, in Beijing.
So I feel like more as a Beijing person. So I feel like Beijing is my home. So I haven't been to many other cities.
Yeah.
I've traveled to other cities but never lived there. So I find myself more comfortable living in Beijing. So the most impressive things I've seen in China is generally people are very friendly, very helpful. And I think, of course, cities are different. It's talking about Changsha and talking about Shenzhen.
Yeah.
For me, when I start talking about Beijing, the story will be long. We talk about the culture. People love eating. You meet one day, they tell you, oh, if you have a problem, call me. And they just leave. You don't even have their number. They don't have yours. You just meet the first day. You are taking a train probably, and you start chatting, and they get out of the train. They tell you, if you have a problem, please call me. So, and there's no contact at all. But it's a sign that actually they are willing to basically help you anytime you're in trouble. And the very interesting thing is, the first time you meet someone, they ask you, have you eaten?
Yeah.
As a greeting.
Yeah.
And that shows they care about you.
Yeah.
And because if you haven't eaten, then you're not well. So the culture is amazing here. And every time, of course, when I'm back in Africa, I feel I'm missing another home in Beijing. So,
Yeah.
And but specifically for Changsha, I think it's a great city. And it's a great job that this kind of exhibition has been put in Changsha, and I think it's going to contribute so much to the growth of this city.
Right. So you are more like used to the northern climate, right? Northern weather.
Yes.
In northern China, I mean.
The weather is.
The weather here is more like humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of different. But you lived there for like seven years?
Yes.
Okay, so so definitely more used to
the weather is a little bit different, but Beijing is more dry, I think. It's scorching. It's winter is more cold, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and
so you have all been in China. You all have different stories and memories in different parts of China, I would say. Joseph, where do you spend the most of the time in China when you're in China? In Changsha. Okay. Changsha, and you're mostly based in Shenzhen and Beijing.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys mostly represent like each and every part of China. These are some of the most representative cities in China, actually. Yeah.
Of course, the other thing that we have experienced here in terms of communication is WeChat.
It's WeChat. Yeah.
We don't use WeChat back home. But
here,
it's a very user-friendly, kind of medium of communication.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to making payments.
Pay your rent, everything.
Very
It's basically ubiquitous, right?
Yeah.
You can do everything, basically.
Yes.
You can even go shopping on WeChat. So that's kind of different from all the other social media.
Just in a few days, I was forgetting WhatsApp.
So WhatsApp it focuses solely on communication, but WhatsApp is. WeChat is much more than that. Much more than that. Yeah, it's not just about the city, it's also about the technology, right? The apps you use here is different. You can feel the vibe, the difference, the growth of China over the years. Yeah, so after Joseph, I've already asked you that, what's your feeling towards the expo? So I want to turn to Benjamin and Andrew. Today is the day 3 of the expo. How do you like the expo so far? Can you share some of your feelings towards the expo?
Actually for me, I think it's been much more better than I thought it would be. I didn't know that there could be so many people coming here to attend this expo. I knew there would be many people, but not this much. So for me, it was an overwhelming feeling. It was a very happy feeling because having all these people who are willing to come and also learn about Africa, experience Africa, it shows that we have potential for continued support, continued cooperation in the future. And also today in this expo, we have been able also to showcase our own products to a lot of people. One thing that is common when we say we sell tea in China, people are quite surprised because in China there's a lot of tea. And also there are many people also who don't know that in Kenya we also have tea, and they're always willing to have a taste because they have not heard of it before. So being able to bring out this product that comes from Kenya, which is actually one of our most important products. In Kenya, tea is one of our biggest exports. So I can say it is part of our Kenyan culture. So being able to share this culture with the local people here in China, it's also a very great feeling. And also for us to also produce other plant products. our company mainly produces is plant-based products. So also being able to introduce these products into China, have people experience them, have people know about them, it's been a great and overwhelming feeling. And also we have had a lot of people who are looking for corporations and also for others who want to, for agencies. There are many people who, during the festivals, there are companies who want to gift, they have to give some gifts or such. And in China, one of the best gifts you can give is tea. So maybe they have friends who they've given any type of tea to. Now they are willing to give tea from Africa so that also the other people can enjoy.
That is special.
Yeah, it's been a great opportunity and also a great experience.
We're so used to Chinese tea. Now if we have African tea leaves, that would be new and special.
Yeah,
as
it's
a
something
gift.
special. It's a good experience.
It's a really unique local specialty from Africa.
Yeah.
And Andrew, what's your feeling so far towards the expo?
The feeling is positive, really great, and when you see people around, today is actually crowded, and
crowded.
You can see the potential. This market has very huge potential, and the love to explore, to test different things is there, but also the spending capacity is also there. People are willing to go out of their comfort zone to buy something, to test it. So because we saw, my colleague brought the baskets and they all sold out. These are made out of the local people's hands, by hand. A number of baskets. Immediately today, the numbers are overwhelming. So, and the coffee, we know China is not from the background of coffee. China drinks a lot of tea, but you can see the number of the young people. Even their parents, they are coming and they are basically discussing whether to try the coffee or not. And they make a decision actually to buy the coffee. And the feeling is that this is a very huge market, and having this expo between Africa and China being held in this city, it brings so many advantages. Not only to the local people of Changsha here, but also the people of Africa. In our stand, we have been showcasing our dances, the traditional dances. So, and all the stands around, they are coming to see our traditional dancing. And this is one way of also exchanging the cultures. So not only selling, looking for people to buy and sell, but we're looking for partnerships, but we're also learning from each other. We are showing in Africa what we have to the world, more especially to the Chinese community. So once they see these beautiful boys, the girls dancing, and they start connecting, and they want to go probably to see where they're coming from. So I think this is a very big platform. The feeling is positive. We have had a couple of meetings, and many of them are very positive. During my stay here, I'm going to end up extending by about 7 days to visit some of the potential partners, to have a roundtable discussion in their offices, and this is a big chance for cooperation on both sides.
Matchmaking, that's one thing that matters most in this expo. Yeah, and I have to say I could barely reach you just now when I was trying to pick you up. It was so crowded today.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually my little cousin, he's now living in Changsha, and this morning he texted me saying that he couldn't wait to visit. I'm sure he's somewhere around now. And there's another information I want to share with you guys, is that China has actually already been Africa's largest trading partners for 14 straight years. And in the year of 2022 alone, the bilateral trade volume between China and Africa has actually hit some $280 billion. That marks an 11% growth year on year. I think behind that number is you guys bringing your products along, showcasing this to Chinese market, to Chinese customers, and we love it, right? Customers, including me, we love it so much. And this is a good mixture. This is how you bridge different cultures and products, and resulting in a win-win cooperation kind of scenario. So that's really great. So my next question is kind of macro for you guys, but as you guys are all business persons, you guys are the driving force behind that growth, that 14 straight years growth. I just want to ask you, what could be some of the potential driving force? Let me start with Joseph. What could be some of the driving force behind that growth between the China and Africa trade activities?
Very interesting question.
Yeah.
What we see, in terms of looking at the trends we see, combining the two destinations. When you look at Africa and when you look at China, I think number one, driver are the younger people.
Younger people.
The younger people, because they bring about, real consumption. The younger people are trendy in the way, they are doing things. Whether we are talking about digitization, they are the first ones, to get, engaged in all this. But we are also looking at population. The population of Africa is growing.
Yeah.
Okay, in the same way, of course, historically, China has been ahead of the game in terms of population growth, and that in itself means increased consumption, and therefore meaning increased trade. So these are major drivers. But besides that, we talk about increased urbanization, both in Africa, but also in China. Infrastructure development, whether you are talking about in Africa, East Africa specifically, or the individual, countries. For example, in Uganda, you talk about road construction. Chinese companies, they are the ones that are involved in the construction, of our roads. Even when we talk about, mining minerals, it is still Chinese companies. So these are major drivers really behind the growth, that we are seeing between these two major economies. And therefore, for me, this theme that we have is actually a right fit, for this kind of forum that we have. And therefore, we need to take this forward, as a win-win, situation. Cooperation for the common future, this should be upheld. That there should not be any form of exploitation, so to say. Because we have looked at our history, okay, especially as Africa, where we have been exploited before. But going forward now, with our new partners, it is the win-win situation. So win-win now becomes a major driver of the mega trends that we see.
Sure. Only win-win is for long term, right? It's for long-term
For long term, for sustainability.
Yeah, for sustainability. Yes, that's big.
In terms of looking at the way we should conserve our climate, the way we should conserve our environment, socially how we are relating to one another, and the economic development, which is a win-win for all. These aspects are fundamental factors that will determine, our common future.
Right. So only a right mentality from both sides can result in that mutually beneficial relationship in the long term, right?
Yeah.
So that's, and also you talk about how like the younger generation, the Gen Z, how they propelled that growth for so many years.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they will continue to be that driving force, behind the driving force between the trade of China and Africa. Okay, so Benjamin, what do you think the driving force will be?
I think the driving force has come from favorable and positive programs and initiatives. An example is the Belt and Road Initiative. This is the one initiative that has greatly opened up China and Africa for cooperation. It has produced more supply and more demand. It has created opportunity for this in terms of technology, in terms of education, in terms of skilled labor, in terms of us sharing what we have so that the other person can also gain from it. I think this kind of initiative has highly increased the trade and also the interactions between different countries between Africa and China. An example, for example, in terms of education, I myself came to China to learn through the same initiative. If it wasn't there, maybe I would never have been here. I would have never learned all this about China. And that is why I am here today. And I've also seen a lot of people benefit from the same. If in terms of development in different countries, you find that you can get people who are skilled to train other people so that they can also take this skill and teach more people. In this type of way, you find we have a labor force that is skilled, and this skill is also a capital by itself. They can use it to further increase their social economic status. So I think for it, it's a more favorable policies and initiatives that are between our two countries, of the continent of Africa and also the Chinese country. This is how we are propelling this, because if there's demand, supply will be there. If there's supply, then demand will be there. So in this type of way, we are able to grow together. Like you said, 50-50.
50-50 with supply and demand meets.
Yeah, this is very much sustainable. It is very much sustainable going to the future. And actually, this also builds a lot of trust. One thing that is rarely spoken of is trust, but trust is one of the things that foster growth. Because if I trust you, I'm very capable of working with you. We can work closely without any supervision.
Yeah.
But if there's lack of trust, then you find that there'll always be barriers along the way. So one of the things, the favorable principles, the favorable programs that have come up, they are the ones that have brought up this trust that is propelling us to this future.
The trust between each other, and also you mentioned the sustainability, like there are this sort of a secret recipe behind a long-term relationship of China and Africa.
Yeah, it is that great foundation. It is not seen, but it's what that holds the building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Andrew, I want to ask another question for you. What's your, like personally, what's your future plan in your life? I mean, your life plan is not just your business plan, right? What's your plan in the future? Like, do you plan to come back to China more often?
After coming here, COVID took about 3 years to kind of relax the policies for us to be able to come here. And what I've seen, and from what I knew before, when I used to be here, life has come back to normal. And this is not the time I would think I don't have to come back again. So I have big plans. Previously, I used to have a schedule that I need to be in China once a year. But I think this time, it has to be quarterly, minimum. I need to come minimum 3 times in a year. As I said, this is a very big platform, a very big country. And I come from a very small country in Africa, but the fastest growing country in Africa, that is Rwanda. And just to complement onto that, because what would be the driving force also to complement on what they said, it's also good leadership. When you talk about good leadership, like in China or in Rwanda or other African countries, when people are stable, they can interact. Then you can start now having plans for the future. So for me, I think the driving force and the plans I have is to leverage on what is in place already. So we have a very big chance right now that China is very close to Africa. There are many trade partnerships that have been signed, so we can import and export freely. And the big plans I have is to leverage. The infrastructure can be there, but when people are not using the infrastructure, it will go to waste. So therefore, the partnerships will not happen. And I can't wait to be part of the developments that are between the two countries. And yes, I think it's going to be a very beautiful journey together, as long as there is that mutual benefits. So we need to look at reducing the trade gap between China and Africa. What's important is maybe more,
That mutual beneficial you mentioned is really, that's across the whole of our topics today, right? The mutually beneficial relationship and sustainability, and our topics literally went from the small little trinkets, pepper sauce, coffee beans, tea leaves, all the way to the Belt and Road Initiative, to those mega road constructions, infrastructure. So once again, Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining our show today. You guys are behind the driving force of China-Africa trade activities for all those years. You guys are within that community between China and Africa for a shared future. Now it's even a more high-quality one, right? Now we're going to take it to a whole new level. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much again, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's all for our roundtable show today, and you can watch it and rewatch it in our social media platforms on WeChat, Weibo, and Twitter and Facebook. And we'll see you next time.